Hello everybody, this is Monty with Flowers by the Bunch. Today I have an order to do an artificial church arrangement. One of our followers asked for me to make an arrangement for a church, and I just so happened to have an order for one. Our follower was interested in seeing how to put, I think she has 6 hydrangeas that she wanted to put into an altar arrangement. So I'm going to show you first what 6 hydrangeas would look like, and then I'm going to add the other flowers that were ordered for this piece. I always start out, so this is just it's kind of a concrete or a resin container. I took it and I put plaster of Paris in the base. The reasoning behind putting plaster of Paris in the base, it gives us some weight so that you don't have any issues with the weight of the flowers causing the container to topple. And it also holds our oasis, or our foam. This is not oasis, this is styrofoam in place. Now I've already done that. I've placed my foam into my container. I am going to take some Spanish moss and I am going to cover that foam. Now you see the mess that Spanish moss makes. So I always suggest when working with Spanish moss, you may not want to do this in the middle of your kitchen. You may want to go out on the patio or outside where it's okay if you make a terrible mess because it's messy. You can see it's just a mess. So I kind of covered my foam, and all I'm really doing there is I want to camouflage that foam. So next what I'm going to do, I'm going to try to clean up a little bit of that mess, but it doesn't really matter. Next what I'm going to do is I am going to start with a little bit of leather leaf. So this is a silk variety of leather leaf. It comes, I think there are 12 stems in a little bundle. We order this in bulk, so we get it a good bit. I am going to take, and you see how long my stems are here? I'm going to take my wire snips. I'm going to grab my trash can, and I'm going to trim those stems. I'm going to take my leather. I have my hot glue pan here. Now I work with a hot glue pan. It's just a regular skillet, like a countertop skillet that we use. And the reason we like to use this size is most of the time when we're working in our design room, there's 2 of us working at a time. And so Callie might be working on one project and I'm working on another. This is just so much easier than the tiny little glue pans. And so we just fill it with pellet glue, and it works great. We put it on its lowest setting, and so the glue needs to be about the consistency of honey. One of our followers said that, and I thought, you are so right. That's exactly right. It's about the consistency of honey. So I'm taking my stems of leather leaf. I'm holding up the bottom leaves on the stems because I don't want to dip them in that glue. I'm dipping my stem in the glue. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm dipping my stem into the glue and just sticking it right into that foam. So we're going to do, it's basically a one-sided arrangement. So church arrangements are often done kind of in a triangle shape. They want a very traditional shaped church arrangement for this order, and they want a few flowers on the back. So I'm going to be sure to add a few stems of flowers just so that it's not just greenery on the back. But I'm not going to add much because the back really isn't going to be seen. All right, I'm going to turn it around, and you see how my back is it's just empty, right? So I am going to add the greenery on the back side just like I did on the front side. so I've just about got it greened out. And quite honestly, I mean, it doesn't have to have a ton of greenery in it. I'm putting plenty of flowers in it. So it's not the end of the world if it's not perfect, okay? I do think I'm going to tuck a couple stems. All right, so there we go. And it looks real flat right now. It will have some depth, no worries. I am going to give it some depth with my flowers. My greenery just looks very, very flat. Now, when designing, you don't want your arrangement to be too flat, okay? And it's really you'll figure it out as you go. If it's too flat and everything's on the same plane, it's just not as pretty as you give it depth. So some flowers are tucked in deep and some flowers are sticking out some. Really makes for a prettier arrangement. Okay, I've got one stem of leather, so I am just going to stick it in here. Okay, so I have my greenery in place. I like to start with my line flower. I always find that using line flower and to get my shape and my form with my line flower is best. And so this is just these are white gladiolus in an artificial variety, and it comes on a bush. I actually bought these from the craft store because I couldn't find any as pretty as I really wanted from our wholesaler. So I just went over to the craft store and picked these up. So I'm taking my wire snips and I'm cutting all of the stems off of the bottom. And you need to make sure you remove any tags because you sure don't need the tag sticking on it when the customer picks it up. So I removed the tag and I threw that away. Next, I am going to take this stem, I'm dipping it right down into my pan glue, and I am going to insert the very top flower, okay? Then I'm kind of making this kind of a diamond shape. Now the one thing you'll find if you use this type of styrofoam, it's hard to insert the flowers. They don't go in so easy. All right. Okay, so I have my gladiolus in place. I am not putting glads on the back, but that's okay. Next, what I'm going to do, because my follower really wanted to see how the hydrangeas would be placed, I am going to use two colors of hydrangeas. These are kind of I would say berry, but they're really more of a strawberry color with a little bit of a peachy color. Just a really pretty variety of an artificial hydrangea. I'm going to take those stems. I'm only going to use about 3 stems of this color. So I took my foliage and I just pushed it up right up underneath that hydrangea. Dip it in glue and stick it right into that thumb. And that one does have the tag on it. Be sure to pull those off, okay? Now I'm going to turn this arrangement around because my customer wanted flowers on the back side. I'm going to add a couple of these blooms of these hydrangeas on the back side. come in with some white hydrangeas. So I have some pretty white hydrangeas, and I've got glue all over my fingers. I'm going to take those stems. I'm going to kind of figure out exactly where I want them, because I want this arrangement full. Now, if you're concerned about placement and you want to stick your flowers in and then stand back and look and stick them in again, that's completely okay. Before you glue them, stick them in and see where they need to go, and then come back and glue everything. Now, if I were to be making this arrangement at home, it's very likely I'm not going to glue these flowers in for myself, okay? Because I may want to pull these out and change it up next year. Very likely I do. I am usually not one that uses the exact same arrangement again the next year. And it's certainly, if I do use the same arrangement, it's certainly not going in the same place, just because it's fun for me to be able to move things around and kind of rearrange. But when it's going to a church, when it's ordered by a customer, it's always glued into place so that it doesn't fall apart. And I think it's going to, in this arrangement, on the front side, I think it's going to take me 7 hydrangeas. It's going to take 4 of the white and 3 of the strawberry color. Okay? Next, I'm going to come in with some white peonies. So I have white peony flowers. So my mind thinks we're going to go one. I'm going to do my top flower first. I'm going to remove my tag. And if you don't like it in that place, pull that thing out and re-glue it. It's not the end of the world. Okay, so there's my white peonies. Next, I'm going to come in with some blush colored roses. These are so pretty, I think. I'm going to take these and cut them off the stem. Now, if you need some length on your stems, I'm going to show you how I place length on the stems. So this is the end of my rose. I'm just going to take a wire pick, and I am going to wrap it right around the stem of that rose, just like that. And then I am going to take a little bit of, this is floral tape that we wrap corsages and boutonnieres with. I'm going to take that and tape that stem, so it's not going to come off very easily, okay? That gives me enough length that I can put it up here in the top. So I just pop that stem, that wood pick with glue, and just stick that right in the top. And so it gives me that length that I need up there in the top of that arrangement. And you'll do that with as many stems as you need to. Okay, so next my color is, so she really wanted a pop of color, but this color doesn't exactly, this is more in a purple family than this strawberry color is. So I'm going to show you how I am going to adjust the color of these flowers to work for this arrangement. So I'm going to take several of the stems that I want to use in this arrangement. I'm not going to cut all of the flowers off this bush because I'm not going to use all of these flowers. But I'm going to cut several stems off. And then I'm going to show you how to use some spray paint to change the color and make it work well with this arrangement. Okay, so I'm going to set this to the side. I've still got plenty, so if I need more, I can use it. But I'm going to set that to the side, and I'm going to show you what I'm going to do. So see how that's kind of in the purple family? This is called Design Master Color Tool Spray, and it's in the burgundy color. And so I'm going to take this paint, and I'm just going to pop that flower with a little bit of a burgundy paint. So see how it's going to pull more of that strawberry color. So I'm going to do that with all of these flowers. And it's going to help these flowers match, okay? Now, this color tool, this paint is actually made for fresh flowers. You can use it on, I can use it on these artificial flowers, but I can also use it on fresh flowers, and it's not going to hurt the fresh flowers at all. But this just kind of tones down that purpley color and makes it blend really well with these hydrangeas. I tell you, spray paint is one of my favorite flower tools. Of all the things in the floral industry, I think of all the tools that we have, spray paint is my favorite. And it's because I'm not wasting so much money. Here, I could have probably, I don't know if I could have found flowers that matched perfectly. So this makes it work so easily. This tool makes it work so easily. But it also works wonderful when you are working with fresh flowers. Because there are times in our little flower shop in Mississippi, I don't have blue hydrangeas. And so I need blue hydrangeas for an order. Well, I carry white hydrangeas all the time. And so with white hydrangeas, I am able to paint my hydrangeas blue so that I can use it for that arrangement. It works beautifully. And this tool was actually, I don't know where I laid my tape. This tool was actually made to be used for fresh flowers, so it's wonderful. I know that some people are afraid of paint, or they've never been taught how to use paint and all the things. Right now we're having a hard time getting our hands on some of the paint. But let me tell you, if you use it correctly and you make the flowers true to their color, and I'm not one that likes faux looking flowers, meaning I don't want a turquoise rose. I mean, it's just not something that I think is pretty. So if it doesn't look true to how it grows, I don't just love it. But to each his own, and that's completely okay. So I have found that tool has saved me lots of money. If I needed 2 yellow roses and I didn't have any yellow roses, but I had white roses, I could pop those white roses yellow and it works perfect. So if you've never used the spray paint for flowers, you really should try it because it's a wonderful tool. It really is. So what I'm doing is that I'm extending the length of all these little flowers by putting them right here on this wood pick, and I'm using tape to just tape that stem to cover up that wire, and it helps hold that flower in place. And I'm throwing my stems on the floor, but that's okay. So I'm going to take some of these shorter stems and I'm going to see if they're going to work in this arrangement for me before I put picks on everything. All right, we've got a few carnations we're going to tuck in there, and then lastly we're going to add some pretty eucalyptus foliage, and this arrangement is just about done. Okay, I always like to stand back. I think I'm going to need something here. I like to stand back and look because you just never know. With silk flowers or artificial arrangements or permanent botanicals, it takes me a little longer to make an arrangement with these types of flowers. And it's just strictly like, I tend to overthink it. And I'm not really sure why. I don't know, they just make me nervous. Because I just want it right. Okay, so there are those flowers. I'm gonna set this one to the side. Lastly, I'm gonna take a little bit of this eucalyptus and I am going to kind of tuck it. I may just leave it on this stem. We're gonna see. If I don't like it, I can pull it out. That's the wonderful thing about floral design, is if you don't like it, it's not the end of the world. You can always pull it out. So I'm just kind of drop the little stem, so I'm picking that up and putting it right back on. I am just going to kind of flare it out a little bit, and then I'm going to nestle it down in the center, and then rearrange the stems. The wonderful thing is you're not going to hurt it. It's not going to get hurt, okay? So just kind of rearrange it. Okay, I've got that tucked in. I don't think that looks bad. Okay, next I'm going to come in. I have a little bit, a couple of stems of this olive. Pull these tags off. I'm sorry this video is going a little longer than usual. I apologize. But this type of arrangement takes just a little bit longer. So this is an olive branch. And it's just, I just like the foliage. It's just pretty, and I love the fact that it has the olives on it. So I'm going to take this and kind of put it in the top, I think. So I'm going to, let's see if this is going to be too long. It might be. I'm going to take it and dip it in the glue. Nope, it's going to be just right. So what it's doing is kind of filling in some of that empty space up there between those gladiolas. And so I'm just dipping it in the glue. To finish off this arrangement, after I placed all of the smaller flowers, the carnations and the magnolias, I came in and added some pretty foliage. So this is a eucalyptus type of foliage, and then this was like a willow eucalyptus. But that kind of gave us our finished look. I also added a couple of stems of berries in it just to give us a little bit more texture. But you can see how the finished product all came together after we put it together. Guys, thank you so much for being here with me today. I hope you have a wonderful afternoon. If you like videos like this, please be sure to subscribe to our channel and hit that little bell down below if you want to get some notifications of when we have a new video. Guys, y'all have a wonderful day, and we'll see you all real soon.